This is Waves, a podcast from APTA Michigan. I'm Andy Wicks. We've featured past winners of the Solstice Scholarship on this podcast before. It is an award given to second-year DPT students who pitch an idea to improve their community. The kicker is that they don't keep the money. Rather, it's used to fund and implement their plan. It's philanthropy at its purest, perhaps. Today's guest is Natalie Hoffman, a second-year student at the University of Michigan Flint. I'll let her tell you how she lifts others. All right, Natalie, if you would be so kind as to introduce yourself as you see fit.
I'm Natalie Hoffman. I am my second year in the program at the University of Michigan Flint.
Perfect. And you're being very modest because you are also the winner of what?
And I am the winner of the 2025 Solstice Scholarship at UM.
There it is. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
If you've listened to past episodes, we've interviewed a few past winners of the Solstice Scholarship. But if you haven't heard, the Solstice Scholarship is awarded to second-year physical therapy students at different schools in Michigan, where they pitch an idea to essentially improve their community, and then they are given an amount of money should they win, and that money is designated then to be used for that project. So you're winning a scholarship to give the money away to something or someone else, which is a little unusual, but it's a very, I think, noble endeavor. We've seen some really cool winners and projects in the past. So Natalie, tell us about how you got here. Tell us about your story.
Yeah, so I decided that I wanted to do a 3v3 soccer tournament as a way to raise money for local families in the Grand Blanc area that are fighting cancer. So as a first year, I was looking for a part-time job that I could do while in school. So I started working at Soccer Zone or Let's Play Soccer Grand Blanc, depending on who you ask. And so they are just an indoor soccer facility. We have year-round soccer, which is super nice. It gets a lot of people in being active and everything. So last year when I first started working there was someone who played there that had a brother who was fighting cancer, and she hosted a 3v3 tournament to raise money for them. So when I heard about the Solstice Scholarship, I started racking my brain for anything and everything that I could do.
Yep.
And so I reached out to her and I had asked, were you thinking about doing this tournament again? How much should you spend? Kind of getting the logistics of it. And then informing her that I had the opportunity to interview for the Solstice Scholarship and get $500 that we could use for this event. And she said that would be wonderful and she would love to help out. So I interviewed, and obviously since I'm here, I ended up getting it. And so with the tournament, I was thinking, I can make a lot of impact with just one family, but what if I split that and made it into two families? Because cancer, everybody knows at least one person that has had cancer, which is very unfortunate, and I hate knowing that. That's just the fact of life. So I was talking with other people at Soccer Zone and kind of brainstorming ideas, and we found actually another family who the son plays at Soccer Zone, but his mom was fighting cancer, and so we were going to donate the money to that family as well. And this, I probably had 6 months to plan it, I believe. And so kind of as time was going on, unfortunately, the one original family member that we were going to donate the money to had passed. He had a really great battle with stomach cancer, but we were able to find another family that we could donate the money to. It was a high school team that plays in our winter youth leagues. And this high schooler has been fighting. He was recently diagnosed and he fought cancer through the winter. And in April, I believe it was, he was put into remission and everything, which is fantastic. And I love talking to his parents and finding that out. But we ended up donating part of the money to him. Which was cool in the aspect of kind of building more of that community. Soccer Zone is always talking about and emphasizing creating community. I feel like that's what we do as a program of creating communities through school and everything. And so we were kind of creating and outreaching in that community a little more. And we ended up raising $3,600.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I took $500 and changed it into $3,600 with the help and support of family, friends, everyone at Soccer Zone.
That's amazing.
And yep. So each family got $1,800.
That's so cool. Wow. Wow.
My goal personally was to raise $3,000, and I was a little hesitant because like a week before the tournament, we only had like 6 total teams signed up, and I was a little stressed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But with the help of the manager there and all my coworkers, we were able to end up with an 18-team tournament.
Wow.
And we raised $3,600. We had bake sale, which all of the bake sale items were donated from my family, friends, coworkers, of everyone involved. We did raffle baskets, which were a huge hit.
Nice.
And those were pretty much all donated as well, which was amazing. We were selling water, Gatorade. Those were all donated. We had Ivy Rehab in Grand Blanc donate on water, which was amazing. And it was an amazing tournament. It blew my mind with how much support and everything we got from everyone.
Well, and it's a cool idea to do this, just a 3v3 tournament, rather than, say like full-fledged teams. It's probably easier to organize that way. If you want to play, just grab a couple friends, not a big deal. It's funny that you mentioned Soccer Zone or Let's Play. There's one here in the Grand Rapids area that my kids have been going to for years. So I'm very familiar with them as well as an organization, but that's really great that they were involved as a venue for this. So how did you, I know that you then got your spiel from Steve and his crew. They come to Grand Valley every year too. So I'm very familiar with, they can be very persuasive in terms of getting people to come out. But did you have classmates that were also like, oh, I wanted to really try this out. I want to see what this is. Like, was there a pretty good response from your cohort with ideas here?
We had, I think it was me and 2 other groups of people that had interviewed.
Okay.
I know we had quite a few people that were interested, but just couldn't, I don't feel like they couldn't come up with an idea on the short notice that they kind of felt like they had. I heard about it the year prior when Jax Keating, she was a 2024 winner. They really advertised that. And so I kind of looked into it a little more and saw, and I was like, ooh, it's almost my turn to interview for that. So kind of what do I want to do?
Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes, because I've heard this from students as well, that they're struggling to find an idea. But I think, I don't know, I feel like the ideas they're easier to find, I think, than people maybe initially expect. Because I think you might feel like you have to come up with this entire business plan almost laid out. And really you don't. And it sounds like you did a good job of utilizing your resources around you in terms of like my coworkers at Soccer Zone, these people that you already just kind of organically had connections with, and realized like, hey, I can take that and we can just extrapolate it a little bit. That's fantastic. So are you a soccer player? Or
No.
were you a soccer player?
I played soccer when I was little, up until I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
And then in our first year, I think it was in January, a couple of my friends in the cohort had talked about joining a soccer league, and it was at Soccer Zone.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, I played soccer when I was little. I guess I can play now. So I kind of started doing that again recently. I'm not good, but
you're out there. You're doing it.
I am a warm body on the field that can sometimes play.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes that's the hardest part about filling a team, is finding the warm bodies.
Right.
Nice. Very good. Very good. So you are at University of Michigan Flint, a very fine institution. They produce some fantastic therapists. You have some great faculty out there. How did you end up there? What's your story?
Yeah. So I grew up in the Saginaw area. And so I've been around Flint. I've kind of known the Flint area. And when I was applying to PT schools, I was really looking for a school that really emphasized volunteer hours. That was kind of my main focus. And when I was looking through applications and considering schools, I feel like PT can be very focused on like patient management and the documentation and everything. And sometimes the community outreach can hit the back burner a little
Yeah.
bit. But the way I was raised and everything was always putting others first and volunteering and really just kind of that help any way I can attitude. And when I did a admitted students day at U of M Flint, I felt as if they really emphasized what I was looking for with the community outreach. One of their main things is their heart pro bono clinic.
Yes.
And they really emphasize the importance of that. And I just felt kind of compelled to go here and kind of be a part of that community outreach. And it just kind of aligned with what I was looking for in an education and really kind of what I've emphasized throughout my life.
Nice. I think that's a great point that you bring up in terms of like the service aspect of our profession. Because yes, PT school is hard. There's a ton of stuff to learn and a ton of stuff to be prepared for during tests and things like that. And we can't discount that because you need to know these foundational aspects of it. But it's almost at the risk of losing the forest for the trees. Like we go into this profession. People want to go into this profession because they want to help people, you know? As glamorous as physical therapy is, like really, we want to go into it because we want to help people. And I think it's easy for people to lose that in the process of, oh, I gotta get through school, or then even when you have a job of, oh, I gotta get my charting done. And it's the slog is real. So it's important, I think, to keep that service in the forefront. And it's hard. It's probably even harder when you're a professional about finding those opportunities. It's not impossible, but even beyond that, there's a ton of opportunities. But yeah, it's definitely, you have to actively make it a priority, I think. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So you're in your second year of 3. If I had to ask you right now, Natalie, to describe your dream job, what would it be?
I have always been compelled to working with veterans or active military.
Okay.
My
Good
family
news.
has
We do that.
right. My family has a lot of veterans
Okay.
and a couple current military right now. And we have always been very much like, you always kind of support those people and like they sacrifice so much for us. And it just is like a long history. And I remember even when I was little, we used to have what's called Craft Day Tuesday at my grandma's house.
Okay.
So me and all of my cousins would go to my grandma's house and we would do a craft for the week.
Oh, fun.
And specifically, it was normally during the summers when we were out of school.
Sure.
But we would always make lap blankets. So they were little tie blankets and, everybody would take a corner and you'd work towards each other.
Yep.
And we would make lap blankets and my grandma would go and drop them off at the nursing homes or the hospitals, kind of wherever would take them for veterans. And so kind of from a young age, I've kind of just grown up knowing that I want, like, those people deserve the best. And so I feel like I've kind of made it my mission to be able to help them.
Fantastic.
And I could never serve in the military. Like, I know that. So I figured the next best way would be to find a career where I can work with them and help them get back to what they want to be doing. And so with PT, I was like, I can easily incorporate that into what I want to do. So dream job specifically, I am unsure of.
Yeah, sure. You got time. It's okay.
Population-wise, I would say veterans or active military in some capacity.
Very cool. That's great. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, even in the east side of the state where you are. There's obviously the VA in Ann Arbor, and there's other opportunities like that. But even, you say you can't serve in the military, but I mean, you could enlist and be an officer, and then you have a career. There are worse paths, that's for sure.
True. I could never make it through boot camp.
Fair enough.
I could not do the whole boot camp thing.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fantastic. So I'll ask you this follow-up question. I'm guessing the answer will probably be the same, because I was going to say, when you started PT school, would you have described your dream job similarly?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Most people have like that aha moment of like, this is when I discovered I wanted to be a PT, or
Mhm.
I was injured during sports and I did PT and I just loved what they did. I didn't have that. I was in 5th grade. My mom and I were watching a high school basketball game, and I looked at her and I said, I want to go play college basketball and I want to become a PT. And she said, oh,
Wow.
no.
Very
So
specific.
here we are.
Okay.
I have played college basketball and now I'm close to being a
Wow.
PT.
Check and check. Look at that. Wow. I think you are rare among 5th graders to know that, to have the kind of foresight, be like, yep, this is my plan. This is my plan.
Yeah, it's always hard when people ask me that question. They're like, yeah, so how did you know? And I was like, I just knew.
You just knew. I mean, that's great.
Mm.
You have the benefit of having that surety about, like, yeah, this is what I've known it for years, because, as you probably know from your cohort, there's many where you're like, I have no idea. Even, it probably wasn't until halfway through my 3rd year of PT school where I was like, oh, okay, here's the niche that I want to pursue, because
Yeah.
up to that point, I was like, I don't know, we'll see where this goes. So that's fantastic. Okay. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? How's school going right now? I'm assuming your program is year round?
Yes, it's an 11 months, so we're almost done with our summer semester. We've got about a month left.
Okay. How are classes going right now?
Pretty good. They are challenging, to say the least.
They should be. They should be. Okay.
But it's been really fun. Right now, we're working on our professional service learning projects.
Okay.
So basically, it's a class where we get to kind of rank different projects that our faculty have come up with. And it's kind of like the Solstice Scholarship, where you're kind of doing something related to PT, but it's not direct patient care.
Oh, okay. Can you give an example, or have you decided on your project?
Yeah, so we were at the beginning of the class, we get a list of projects and then you kind of rank them. And then our faculty will put us in the projects based on rankings and kind of what they know about everyone. So my project specifically is working with a youth soccer team to create a more dynamic warm up and give them kind of more education on like good nutrition, hydration, injury prevention, and maybe even some like common tapings that they can do when they kind of get those aches and pains.
Okay. Very nice.
I'm just kind of working with the coach and the players and all of that. So it's nice to kind of have that built into the curriculum.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a unique feature, and I think it speaks to your program about the emphasis on that service aspect of it, which is really neat to just have that be almost just this is just an expectation or a part of the job. Makes it, that part I think makes it easier for it to be a part of your job when you're out of school. It's just like, well, this is what we've always done. So that's fantastic. Yeah. Okay.
And that project is super nice. I'm also in the dual program for the DPT and the PhD at U of M.
I also am familiar. Okay.
And so this project aligns with what I want to do for my DPT or for my PhD dissertation.
Which is what?
So the idea is to do a survey of high school basketball coaches and see what their need or want is for more education and resources on specifically ACL prevention programs, and then giving them the resources that they need or would want that helps them implement programs to hopefully eventually reduce the risk of ACL tears in high school basketball female. So it's kind of like a knowledge translation project with ACL prevention and high school athletics.
So, okay, you're in this dual program because DPT school apparently wasn't hard enough for you. You needed to tack on a PhD on top of it.
Right.
How long is that? Are they designed so that you finish them both at the same time, or you're going to finish the DPT first? Realistically, I would assume.
Yeah. So the DPT program is 3 years no matter what.
Yep.
The PhD program is incorporated into that in a way where you can get the majority of your PhD done
Okay.
by the time you graduate with your DPT. So right now, the plan is to graduate with my DPT in August of 2026.
Woo.
And then finish my PhD by like 2028 would
Nice.
be ideal.
Okay. I
But
mean,
it's flexible in the way that you can kind of pick your own pace.
yeah,
The only requirement is you have to finish it within, I think, 7 years of graduating from the
sure.
DPT program or from the start. But if it's taking you 7 years, like then it might
Hopefully,
be a
hopefully that won't be the case. Yeah.
right.
No, but I mean, I can understand, life circumstances happening for different people in terms of like starting families, changing jobs. Like
Uh-huh.
there's all this stuff that goes on. But yes, that makes sense that you would have X number of years after starting it to finish it. Well, that's fantastic. So, okay. We've talked about your ideal job. We talked about the fact that you're getting several letters after your name. Do you anticipate or do you see yourself in a career track of like getting into research or academia at some point?
I would love to get into academia at some point just because, like, right now, studying for exams, the way that helps me understand the material really well
Hmm.
is teaching it to my classmates or my family. Like,
Yep.
I'll be like, okay, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But kind of like that dual thing of like me studying, but then also working on using layman terms as if I were talking to a patient who
Which
has
is
no
you
idea what
say
I'm
a great
talking
communication skill to have.
so I would like my main goal would be academia.
Nice.
I feel like I want to take what I've figured out in PG school and kind of that emphasis on community involvement and then kind of just keep hopefully one day inspiring others to do it.
Oh, I have a
Um,
feeling you will. You might have
and
to make
just,
sure that when you graduate, you might have to give your parents honorary degrees for all the studying they did with you.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, make them a little,
There's a long list of those
yeah,
people.
go, just make a little fake diploma kind of a
Right. Yeah.
thing. That's so cool. Oh, man. So, okay. And then the last question I was going to ask you, and you described your desire to kind of work with the military and or veteran populations. You got into the soccer zone kind of by accident. Sounds like kind of through intramurals and whatever, but here you are. And now you're, doing some research on high school athletes in that field as well. And working with families that have been affected by cancer. Have you given thought to, or has the idea of working in like an oncologic physical therapy practice come to you or been appealing to you, just out of curiosity?
Yes and no. We are in our integument class right now, and we just finished our kind of like mini unit on breast cancer and lymphedema treatment.
Yep.
And I found that really interesting, and I think it could be a possibility to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of researched the oncology route a little bit. During the APTA student conclave, I attended the oncology talk that they were offering. I forgot who spoke at that.
Probably, I'm guessing was that probably Lori Bowright and or Chris Wilson might have been a part of that. I'll have to look back.
Maybe. I would have to look it up again.
Yeah. Well, we are fortunate in Michigan to have some top-notch oncologic practitioners. I think probably per capita, we probably have more than a lot of states. Yeah. I was just curious when you were talking about your project. I'm like, I wonder if that was an interest of yours. The good thing is, it's not a good thing, but I don't know how to phrase this. Veterans get cancer too. So you can also, you can work with veterans who are dealing with cancer and things like that.
Yes.
It's one of those areas. It's a relatively new branch of physical therapy practice. And a lot of people I think aren't very familiar with it or how to incorporate it. But as you said at the top of the episode, almost everybody knows somebody who has been affected by cancer. And so it's not like you're never going to see a cancer patient. You could be working in an outpatient musculoskeletal clinic and you might have someone come in who has had cancer and is now using your example of someone who had breast cancer and treatment for it and now has restricted tissue in their axilla and they're coming to you because their shoulder hurts, well, guess what? You better know some things about dealing with post-cancer treatments. So, it affects everybody. It affects everybody. That's all right. Natalie, one thing I offer as an invitation to all guests on the show, this is an invitation, not a requirement, is if you have a soapbox upon which you would like to stand and rant, I will give you the opportunity. You don't have to. But if there's something that always just kind of bugged you or you're like, this is what would make the world better, you have a platform by which to spout your wisdom.
I think it would just be like anybody that's considering PT as a potential career option or anybody that's in any PT program is just finding opportunities to get involved in the community or volunteering. I know personally, like U of M has a lot of volunteer opportunities. And I think just getting involved with those, because you never know the type of connections or like who you'll connect with that could be useful in the future. I think it's just really important to be involved in the community and get to know people and never take an opportunity for granted. I think you get a lot of unique and amazing opportunities in PT school. And sometimes I feel as students, we just get so overwhelmed and stressed out about exams and licensure and everything. And I think sometimes we forget how broad our education is and how lucky we are to have these unique opportunities, and just like try to take hold of all of the opportunities you can and just, shoot for the stars. You only have one time in PT school that you can get all these opportunities lined up, so just take advantage of it.
There you go. That's a fantastic soapbox, Natalie. Very, very, very inspiring. Very inspiring. Well, thank you, first of all, for taking the time to talk with me. Thank you for the service that you have provided through the Solstice Scholarship and your soccer tournament. Or maybe this is like a side gig. You have like soccer tournament organization. You never know.
Maybe.
Everyone needs a side hustle, so this could be yours. This could be yours. Good luck in the rest of your semester and the rest of your academic career.
Thank you.
And I hope we cross paths in real life sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Natalie Hoffman is a rising star in the PT world. She is a second-year student at the University of Michigan Flint's Doctor of Physical Therapy program and someone who knows how to make her world better. Waves is a production of APTA Michigan. It is hosted by me, Andy Wicks, and edited by Jen Hood. We can be found online at www.aptami.org or on the socials at APTA-MI Waves. Leave us a review if that's your thing. We would appreciate it very much. Thank you for listening, and may your documentation always be done on time.